goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Connington, joined by fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscraft. Croft.
How am I supposed to go into my joke? The Cinema Psycho Show continues. Wait, I mean the Cinema Psycho Show forever.
Or returns.
Yeah.
Or just John,
Psycho Show
Lane,
begins.
and Brian.
Psycho Show begins.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that's what Tim Burton was going to call it if he was going to make the third Batman movie. It was going to be Batman Continues.
What?
And he hates the name Batman Forever. You're an idiot, Tim.
I'm
What
sorry.
episode are we on?
We're on episode
156.
156, and this is another entry of our long-standing series of Really That Awful.
And it's
Really that awful?
Really That Awful, Batman
Really that
Forever.
awful?
It's going to be a little bit different this time.
Yeah,
We're
because,
gonna-
spoiler alert, yes it is.
No. The thing is, we're coming from a point of view of we usually have a movie that we like and we defend that was crapped on, and we're kind of going the other way. We flipped it on its head.
We flipped it on its head.
And we're gonna give it a second chance, even though none of us are exactly big fans of this movie.
No.
Fair.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
At all. Some of us might say that this movie was the first knife in the back that led to Batman, being abandoned for a good couple years.
Oh, comic book movies in general.
Comic book
After-
movies
that's
in
the one
general.
that came after
I
this.
would just say this might be the first, cut in a
Because if-
series
Maybe.
of cuts.
If you look at this as from an executive point of view, though, like this movie was a huge hit.
Well, I would say that from an executive point of view, the executives shouldn't be making fucking movies
Darn tootin'.
that turned to this.
But I mean-
that was part of the problem.
Well, the problem is they did the exact same thing they did with Tim Burton. They gave creative control to Joel Schumacher on the next one, and they're like, "Oh well, this is over." Not just Batman, but superheroes in general.
Yeah, this movie, Batman Forever. First of all, we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie. If you haven't seen it, this movie came out in '95.
I can't help you if
Can't help
you haven't
you.
seen it.
What the fuck are you listening to this? If
There
you've
are
never seen
some.
Batman
There
Forever?
are some people I've met who've said I've never seen Batman Forever. And I'm like, what the?
Would they be mad if we spoiled it?
Probably not.
I don't think they would
Okay.
be listening, honestly.
But-
I feel like if
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think it's worth though
You seem
before
upset.
we
Are you
actually before we actually dive into this movie.
Nice pause
It like
there.
hurt you to say it.
Did hurt. I think it's worth exploring the run up to this film. So the year is 1992. Batman Returns comes out, and Batman Returns. If you remember, we talked about this on our Batman episode. We also talked about it on the first episode we did, Batman Returns, in which that movie was given exclusively to Tim Burton because Warner Brothers wanted to make a sequel. And they believed at the time that you need to have Tim Burton involved. You need to get Michael Keaton involved. And Tim Burton was like, I don't want to do this fucking movie. I want to do my own weird, goofy shit.
Yeah.
Direct quote.
Direct quote.
I think he actually had a spec script called My One Weird Goofy Shit, written by Tim Burton and Dennis Denovey.
Yeah, it was called Frank and Weenie.
Here's the thing. We actually like early Tim Burton movies. Like literally up until about Sleepy Hollow. We actually like Tim Burton movies.
All right, I'm going to say something shocking. I like Sleepy Hollow. I like Sleepy
Ew,
Hollow.
I do too. I didn't want to say it.
I said up to.
until,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that means that including. Okay?
Including.
And then even Planet of the Apes, I was like, oh boy, Tim Burton's the greatest director of all
He
time.
can't
I
do
love
what
Planet
you
of the Apes.
want.
And I went, oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So basically, Tim Burton did not want to do another Batman movie, and I mean, I think you made mention of this too, John, when we talked about the first Batman, that he hated working with Peter Gruber and
John Peters.
and John Peters.
Oh, yeah.
And
They were producers that just
Yes.
railroaded every decision that
and on
They're
top
maniacs.
of that, they were maniacs,
Yeah. Right.
And on top of that, he did not like having to kind of stick to the comic book, and wanted to just make a Tim Burton Batman.
Tim
movie.
is not a comic book fan.
No, he's not.
He didn't read comic books. Oh, oddly, Joel Schumacher did.
Yes.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, but they wanted to lure him back, so they said, okay, you can have complete creative control over Batman Returns. You do whatever the hell you want, and that's why Batman Returns looks like a Tim Burton film.
Which isn't a bad idea, though, because Edward Scissorhands was a big hit.
Yes.
It's like, and that was basically him having creative control.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
So our Batman movie was a hit, and he directed it, and Edward Scissorhands was a big hit, and he had creative control. Why wouldn't those two things work together?
Because Batman has an established mythos, and if you go against the established mythos, you piss off the fans, and that's what happened. The other side of it, too, is that I blame Warner Brothers for this. I don't really blame Tim for this. Warner Brothers viewed the Batman movie as a kid's film. They did not view it as a serious film. Whereas I would say that the original Batman was more of a serious film than a kid's film. But
I mean, I saw it when I was 4.
Right. You saw it when you were 4, but I don't think
I enjoyed it.
I don't
and
think
wasn't
people like
bothered
you and
by
me
it.
were the target audience. I think it was fans of Batman who were grown adults at that time.
Really?
Oh,
I do.
I mean, all the toys and stuff. I think
That's an after fact.
I think
though.
8 to 35 was their target audience. You know.
Well, right.
That's a big demographic.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying. like if you watch the first Batman, that first Batman does not feel like a kid's comic book movie. That feels like a serious, dark film.
That was the 80s for you, though.
Yeah.
You know, most
Yeah.
of the movies we saw when kids were not appropriate for children.
most of our movies were medium to like moderately fucked up. And we're fine.
pretty
We
much.
turned out
Pretty much.
fine.
We're good.
It's fine.
But my point is that I think that Warner Brothers had the expectation that with us selling, to McDonald's and having Happy Meal toys, and that's going to come back and bite you in the ass later, that this was a kids movie, and that's what they were trying to aim it for, is as a kids movie,
Right.
And when I mean kids, I mean boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ages-
and it's
ages
fun. This is just-
7 to 21.
And this,
Toy age mostly too.
Toy age, yeah.
And this couldn't have been less in my hemisphere growing up.
Oh, no, I know
I saw the first Batman movie with John.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Yeah.
If I saw it as a kid, I don't
That was such
remember
a
it.
rite of passage for me to show you. It's like
He was so excited. He was so excited.
when I
And
find
then-
out like people that haven't seen Star Wars, I was like, what? Oh, come with
You're
me.
like, come with
Who
me. I'm
are
going
you?
to introduce
Clear
you
your
into a world.
schedule. Give me your phone. I'm going to put it in aluminum foil. We're going to put it in the mailbox. You don't need a phone right now. You just need Star Wars.
Seriously, well, my friend recently had a child, and when she told me she was pregnant, I was like, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, just send the child to me when they are 11, and I
Send
will
the child.
right? I was like, send the child to me when they are 11, and we will watch Star Wars, and it will be amazing.
And then you'll be like, we don't need to talk about episodes 1 through 3 or
Oh no,
Or any of the
I'll
Disney
give
or
it-
ones.
7 through 9.
I'll
You
give
don't need
the
to talk
child a
about those.
proper
We don't need to
education.
talk about those. But the point is that Warner Brothers marketed this movie based as a kids film, and it wasn't. It was a Tim Burton crazy clusterfuck movie.
It was a vile,
Yeah.
sad,
with and it was
nihilistic,
yes.
cruel film
Very-
about horrible
and when we mean-
sexual people.
When we mean dark,
Yeah.
we mean literally grayscale,
Literally and figuratively. Yeah.
Super dark.
Like, I think Catwoman's red lipstick was the only color in this movie.
With Nazi architecture.
Nazi architecture.
Purple veins in the penguins.
That's right.
And green shit coming out of his mouth.
Well, it was black shit.
Black shit. Yes, that's right.
Black
Excuse
shit.
me.
It wasn't green shit. It was black shit.
Green shit was coming out of his
no
ass.
color. I
Oh
said no
my
color.
god. Gross.
Yeah. So,
Gross.
and don't get me wrong. I like Batman Returns, except for one
I love
scene.
it.
Hey,
Except for one scene.
listen, if you guys want to know our thoughts on Batman Returns,
Episode 1.
re-fucking
Oh,
wind.
God. Don't listen to episode 1. That's like, you go back to Simpsons season 1. Frosty chocolate
Dude, I want
milkshake.
to. I want to do it. I want to see it.
So,
or hear it.
that movie did not really work out too well. It caused parents groups to go crazy.
They lost their
Well,
minds.
and the thing is, I don't really think the studio cared about the parents groups
Yeah, I do.
because the thing is, the movie made $8 quadrillion bazillion dollars, not as much as the first one, not even close, but it made a lot of money. It was McDonald's,
McDonald's.
and the thing is, we don't realize this, but McDonald's basically financed a lot of movies
Yes.
when we were kids.
Yeah,
True.
man, it's weird.
Here's a side tangent. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Jurassic Park, the scene where Grant's with the kids
Mm-hmm.
and the brontosauruses come up and they're like, Vegisaurus likes veggie, and they feed the plants and the sneeze joke and all that. McDonald's wrote that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, McDonald's said that we need a scene in there where we have friendly dinosaurs so we can sell friendly dinosaur toys. And McDonald's was basically 40% of their budget, so they said, okay, whatever you want, McDonald's overlords.
I was just gonna say whatever you
Wow.
want, burger or overlords.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I only know that because you told me, John.
Yeah, so when
I
McDonald's...
mean, I know toy companies do that. I know toy companies who have, they're coming in from the standpoint of, we need to sell action figures, and here's how you're going to get the action figure that we want to put in the movie. Have them wear some goofy fucking suit. Oh wait, that happens in this one. So like I know toy manufacturers do that. I didn't know that McDonald's did that.
But so this rolls around and they say McDonald's basically their overlords say, "Hey, you hire that Tim Burton guy again, and you won't have the Happy Meal. You won't have that sweet burger money,
Sweet burger dollars."
Yeah, and they said, "Okay, well, Tim's out."
Yeah, seriously.
Well, what was interesting was I guess the meeting happened that Tim Burton was ready to do a third one.
Yeah.
Like this time around, he wanted to do a third one, and they were like, Tim, don't you want to go do your own movies?
Yeah, aren't you a little bored?
Aren't you a little bored with Batman? Don't you want to go do your own movies? And he's like, you don't want me on this, do you? And it was like, no.
And that's why Keats was like, nope.
Yeah, because Keaton was I only want to do it if Burton's on board.
He also got
Timmy,
a copy of the script. Too.
Yeah, no Timmy, no shimmy.
Yeah,
and they were gonna pay him like $15 million and a part of the profit of the movie. And Keats,
so he was gonna get a Jack Nicholson deal.
Yeah, and Keats basically said, "No, I'm still out because the script is garbage."
Do you know that makes me just absolutely in love with Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like dignity and integrity as an artist. That makes me so happy.
But and obviously it was also the tone in which the film was going with, and that's how we got to Batman Forever, which is technically supposed to be a sequel to Batman Returns, but could not be any different.
There is no way. It's
almost everybody's recast except Gordon and Alfred.
All
the architecture's different. The costumes are different. The Batmobile's different. Nothing connects this to Batman Returns other than the fact that
Wayne Manor's
it's a
different.
Batman movie.
Well, Dr. Chase Meridian does have one line that ties it into Batman Returns.
Skin tight vinyl on a whip.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Which we're going to get to how I think that Dr. Chase Meridian is quite literally the worst psychiatrist
Walking
ever.
sex puppet.
And
walking sex puppet.
well,
no, sexy lamp. Sexy lamp.
She
could
literally
literally
is,
be a sexy lamp.
when I was watching this again, I immediately thought of you, Lane, and I was going like, this that Bechdel test.
Oh, well, there's no two women in it. There's
There's sugar and spice.
There has to be
Sugar
two.
and spice are in it.
No, fuck you guys. There has to be two women in it
They
to
don't
have a
talk to each other.
conversation.
But not even just that. Like I also think that Dr. Chase Meridian is quite literally a walking sexual harassment lawsuit.
I'm telling you, that's another one of the movie tests. If she could just be replaced with a sexy lamp, it fails like the test
Yeah.
of life. And
Yeah.
sexy lamp.
We'll get to that one.
We know we got a whole new crew on this thing when Batman. Not only do we see his buns and his nipples when he's getting dressed up, but he comes out. Can I persuade you to take a sandwich, sir?
I fucking hate
And he goes,
this line.
"I'll get right through."
First of all, Batman is not going to go through a fucking.
Could you imagine if you're like, "Welcome to Taco Bell." Holy hell, is that the Batmobile?
Seriously, especially because especially because Batman's kind of a vigilante from justice, and like I feel like sometimes the cops are like after him a little.
You wouldn't know it from his walking signal of a Batmobile now. Did you notice how now he's literally got like illuminated hubcaps?
It's literally a cock now.
A
yes.
glowing cock.
Well,
It's a ribbed for her pleasure Batmobile.
Did you know, and this is an interesting little tidbit from this movie, they reached out to H.R. Geiger to design the Batmobile for this one. So H.R. Geiger
the family-friendly one.
Yeah.
Let's get the penis and vagina guy.
Here's the thing. He didn't design it.
Yeah.
He didn't make this one. His design, actually, you can look it up. It was not a cock-looking thing.
Oh wow!
It was not. This was all Schumacher.
Jesus
This
Christ!
is all him.
Joel.
This is all him. But I just had a problem with like, the cops are not supposed to like Batman. Like,
No.
Oh, and how he swoops down to the street and he's like,
Yes.
"What's up, Gordon?"
yeah,
Slapping
yeah.
high fives with cops
Yeah,
and shit.
but like literally, the guy's hubcaps have bat symbols on them, and they're
Oh yeah.
glowing.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, is anyone going to talk about how much this is like a walking like poster for the Batman?
All right, my
Batmobile
dudes.
on the
All
boat?
right, my dudes.
Batmobile?
Let's wheel this back just a little bit.
I hate this movie so much.
So Val Kilmer, worst Batman or most worst Batman?
I would say worst Batman, decent Bruce Wayne.
You just blew my fucking mind.
Decent Bruce Wayne.
Decent Bruce Wayne.
I said
And-
decent.
and that's interesting because
I would even
is-
give it to Affleck over him. Yeah, I'd say he's the worst.
Worst Batman, decent Bruce Wayne.
Okay. Well, who's the worst Bruce Wayne then? Clooney?
Oh, wait, Clooney.
Yeah, forget about Clooney.
No,
yeah,
Clooney wins both.
Clooney's worse.
Clooney's worse.
He's
at
the worst.
everything.
He's
the worst at
publicly
everything.
apologized, which I appreciate.
Joel Schumacher has apologized for Batman and Robin as well. But
He should apologize for this one.
He
too.
only apologized for Batman and Robin. Let's just roll that one back there, okay?
Seriously.
But yeah, I would say if we're going to talk about worst of both, it's Clooney.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
absolutely him.
And I think it's cool that Clooney agrees.
Yeah.
And said like, yeah, no, I sucked.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that humility.
I think that this version of Batman is a very forgettable one. It's kind of like when James Bond was recast by what was his name?
Which one?
He was played by
George Lansbury?
Yeah, George Lansbury. He played him once.
George Lazenby.
Lazenby, that's it.
Yeah.
And no one remembers him.
Oh yeah, I
At
didn't
all.
even know that was a thing.
Well, not only did
We couldn't even
that
get the
poor
damn name
bastard
right.
had to replace Sean Connery, who everybody,
Yeah.
that's the only James Bond. We're gonna
Well,
have
I
50
think
of them.
I think it's a similar thing with this. Like at the time, everybody knew Michael Keaton as Batman,
Yeah,
and Val Kilmer swoops in mainly because of Tombstone,
Bat swoops in.
Yeah.
and he's forgettable. He's way too fucking chatty, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This Batman talks way too much. Like he gets pissed off when Dr. Chase Meridian says that bats are flying rodents. Bats aren't rodents, Dr. Meridian.
Yeah. He's supposed to be in the shadows.
Shut the fuck up.
It's a weird hill to die on.
And it's, well, no, I mean, Brian's making a good point. Is that that's not what Batman is. Batman, it's more inclined with a 60s TV show where he shows up on the street and starts having, long conversations in a perfectly lit area
Yes.
with people. That's not who the character
That's not
is.
fucking Batman ever. It's not him. Stop it. I wasn't yelling at the screen while watching this at all. No, it wasn't. Not at all.
Never.
So yeah, it's a different take on it.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do with this is I'm gonna try just to play a little bit of devil's advocate to try to defend it, and you guys can
You're
tell
going to
me
use those fucking
of
debate
why.
skills on us, huh?
well, why
Mr. fucking debate team.
Yeah.
Welcome to my marriage.
because the idea was okay, this film made a lot of money. It was liked by a lot of critics. It was liked by a lot of people. We don't really care for it,
Right.
But so we decided let's try to see if there's any merit to it. If it really is
Fair.
a novel, we're going from the bottom up instead of the top down this time.
Fair.
So,
Okay.
Would starting off here, would you guys say that we were so used to the Tim Burton aesthetic that this was such a shock to the system that it kind of turned us off immediately in an unfair way?
I can see that. I'm not sure if it's an unfair way. I mean, the aesthetic is so different. We go from grayscale to neon scale. And that's a big jump.
Literally, we're not even joking when we say neon. There's literally a gang of blue, blacklight neon gang.
Schumacher loves his neon, okay? That bastard loves
Hey, let's
black
rape
lights.
and pillage, guys, but
Which
hold on, let me
makes
put my makeup on.
No sense whatsoever. This pisses me off almost as much as the mirrors in Batman Return.
John, I don't
We know
think,
how you feel about
Okay,
the
I know you guys. know how I feel.
I don't think Brian's going to play the way we intended.
I'm not going to play the way you
No.
intended.
He can shit on it. That's the whole point.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, why the fuck would you be a gang with neon paint on you that only works in black light?
So it only works in the dark.
It
making
only
you
works
thereby
in the
easier
dark.
to see.
Yes,
And ninja
you
kick.
are you are a gang, and you are easily identified by your neon fucking paint. That's like saying, I'm gonna go murder you with a gun that's been painted orange. It makes no sense. So now I will give a credit here. All right. I get the aesthetic they're going for. They're going for, in my opinion, they kind of went for that 50s, 60s Batman era.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're looking at the comic books, 50s and 60s pretty much had a very much more colorful Gotham. Not my favorite, but that's the aesthetic they're going for. I also think that Joel Schumacher kind of blew his load and trying to make this thing look like Blade Runner.
Giggity.
Giggity.
Very
It has
phallic Blade Runner.
Well, it just why does
I'm
every
so upset.
why does every character have to have a projector on their face with some bizarro symbol on their face? Literally, if you go into watch this movie, The first time that Commissioner Gordon and Dr. Chase Meridian are seen, there's some Japanese or Chinese or some sort of Asian symbol being projected and rotating on their face. So you can't even pay attention to their face because there's a symbol on their face. You go to Robin when his parents die, and guess what's on him? A fucking projector on his face. Why? It makes no sense. It's not motivated by anything. You know? That's part of cinematography and lighting, right? We're taught that.
Yeah.
Light needs to be motivated.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any light in this movie that's motivating shit?
No. I love when
Yeah.
they flash back and he's like fallen into the bat cave before it's the bat cave and it's just a cave of bats and like there's just a bright light on him and he's in a fucking cave with no light source.
I think that's supposed to be more
Here's the thing.
metaphorical and symbolic.
Okay.
Here's the
All
thing.
right.
That scene, and we can go into it now if you want to, but I will say the one thing that this movie does have going for it is that it did explore the character of Batman and his motivations, where at the time
Interesting.
that was not looked at. You could make the argument that the Tim Burton films were more villain-centric
That's true.
than hero-centric. And it wasn't until we got to Batman Begins with Christopher Nolan where the shift now moved to, okay, we're going to focus on the motivations of Bruce Wayne. So that is the one thing that I will say that is good about Batman Forever, is that they did try to showcase Bruce Wayne's psyche a little bit.
Fair.
Yep. All right. Okay. This movie has Robin, and Robin is a big part of the Batman canon. How can you not like the idea that Robin's
Because
in it?
Robin's 21 fucking years old.
Do you want him to be 9?
Yeah, is that
yeah.
better? Is that better?
Well, okay. First of all,
Macaulay Culkin? Like,
Oh my god!
No, because here's the thing. If we're talking about the comic books, Robin is a child in the comic books.
But
that
like
would
that's
translate a
creepy
little weird to the
AF.
screen.
It's creepy.
No.
I support the older dudes.
No, I don't support it because here's the thing. You know, he has a conversation with fucking Bruce Wayne saying, hey, I know you told that cop that I'm going to stay with you, but I'm going to go where the fuck I want. Okay, dude.
Yeah, you're 21.
You're 21 fucking years old. I don't give a shit where the fuck you go. You want to die in a ditch?
And
Go
he
ahead.
is literally 21.
He's an older kid. There's no way
I think
that
they're implying he's like high school age, like 17.
there is no way that kid is 17.
Like
there's
maybe
no
he
way-
just finished high school.
No, the man has hair on his balls. I can guarantee you that.
I
okay?
mean, you have hair on your balls at 17,
Well, I'm
though,
just-
Brian. I hate to tell you.
He's got hair on his balls and he's got tattoos. I can guarantee you that. Okay,
It's that 90210 thing where like 28-year-olds are playing 17.
Yeah. Listen, there is no way.
Those damn Dawson's River kids.
I'm just telling you, those Dawson's River kids. I'm just telling you, there is no way that Chris O'Donnell is a 17-year-old. Okay, it's not possible.
I mean, he looks 30. I
He
get
looks
it.
like he's 30.
I get it,
okay?
but that's what they're presenting.
Well, you know what? You can present that this movie is a competent film, and I'm still going to say it's a shit sandwich. Okay?
you're the worst.
No, I'm not.
This movie's the
Accurate.
worst.
So what I'm getting across is that if you had a younger actor in it, you don't have to necessarily go with someone who, you know, is like 10. But I think having someone who maybe is like, I don't know, 15, you're telling me there's no 15-year-old actors out there or 16-year-old actors, like real 16-year-old actors to have them play.
Well, they also don't want that because then they can only
Child
shoot
laws.
for so many
Oh,
hours.
well, so sad for you that you have to abide by child labor laws.
Hey, they already had to pay Billy D. Williams $5 million to get him out of this movie.
Let me play little devil's advocate here and
Billy
why you have
D.
to play,
Yeah.
do child labor laws here
Yeah.
and why it might be a better thing to do that. Okay, let's say that, McDonald's is writing the script for this because clearly they did.
They're clearly calling the shots.
If you've got a kid in the movie, wouldn't that be a better sell to sell Happy Meals
I think
to have a child in it?
I think it would come off pedophilic.
I think so, too. I think it'd be creepy if he
Okay,
was
first
little.
of all, Batman and Robin have always battled that.
Yeah.
But I just think that it doesn't work having, an adult be a sidekick. An adult be a sidekick. It doesn't work. So, there was that part. Also, Chris O'Donnell's annoying as all fuck in this movie. Like, he's just like, I'm going to be your partner whether you like it or not. And Batman's just like, all right, I guess.
Do you guys want to
You're
hear some
fucking
of the...
Batman.
Do you want to hear
Just
some of the
bitch
other
slap
options for Robin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, Johnny Depp, Matt Damon. Like, I could go on. There were so many people that tried out for this.
Oh, wow.
part.
And how did they come to Chris O'Donnell? He wasn't as big of a name, really.
Probably money.
Well, you know who also tried out to be Robin? Ben Affleck.
Ha!
Do you know who also tried out to be Robin?
Who?
Christian Bale.
Yeah, you told me that
Really?
last night. Yeah,
Oh,
he told me that
wow.
last night.
Leonardo DiCaprio, they were actually about ready to cast, but he also didn't like the script and he passed.
Shit, that's amazing.
I told you it's a shit sandwich. So I just always felt that Robin was annoying. I always thought he was an annoying character to begin with. I never thought that Batman needed to have a Robin, period.
Right.
And I always saw it as that was a reason to.
Because we grew up with the first two movies and we
Well, it's
were
not just that.
anti-Robin.
That plus I think also if you look into the history, Robin was brought in to kind of cut Batman's balls off a little bit. Like they tried to kind of roughen the edges. I mean, Batman used to carry a gun in the comic books. Like he actually.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
that's
30s.
true. I forgot
So,
about that.
right
Everybody
around-
carried a gun wherever they went in the 30s. Like, attention, shopkeep, like waving a gun in his face. Cobble my shoes.
Wow.
But I think that the comic book code that came out in the late 30s, early 40s kind of forced DC to try to appeal to children and try to kind
And also
of
make these
soften it.
superheroes fatherly.
Yes,
So we got
that's
Bucky Barnes
yes,
and
yes.
Captain America and etc.
so like I always thought
super
that
kid.
I always thought
Gross.
that Robin was kind of a vestige of that.
Yeah.
He just kind of was like, yeah, you're thrown on there literally to appeal to children, and that's not Batman.
And just as another option here, wouldn't you guys say it's kind of cool that we get so much of the Batman mythos here? We get Batboat, Batwing, Batmobile.
They're literally
all the
only
gadgets.
There. They're literally only there for about 5 minutes. The Batmobile.
How the Riddler missed those too.
Okay, Debbie Downer.
Okay, you know what? That's my role in this episode. Is to be the voice of reason.
Lane,
The voice of reason.
Well, Brian's the voice of anger. Lane, do you want to try to be the voice? I mean, if you agree with
Brian's
Brian,
the voice of
then say
anger.
it.
Well,
'Cause I'm actually staying fairly quiet because
So-
I'm playing the devil's advocate character.
So here's
here.
the thing that I have, like, and this isn't fair, but it exists nonetheless. Like, I'm actually very sick of the Batman origin story. I feel like there's no Batman movie out there that doesn't have Martha and Thomas dying in it, and like,
Why did you say that name?
and I'm 100%
Batman
over it.
and Robin, to its credit, doesn't have Martha and Thomas. dying.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't have it
not?
in it. It doesn't. It has like one scene where it's mostly about Alfred. And it's not.
Oh,
about,
yeah, 'cause they're dead. It's not
and
them
then
dying.
Dark Knight,
Yeah, you're right.
Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises don't have Martha and Thomas dying in it.
Okay, thank God. But yeah, I'm kind of sick of the origin story of that. So like,
But I feel it's not an origin story. Like, here I am defending Batman forever. But I feel that it builds on the Batman thing. And if I had told you, just like, if you had never seen Batman Forever, so just imagine, you've spotless mind, you cleared it out there, Eternal Sunshine style. And I told you, this story is about a guilt-ridden Batman who's going through grief from the end of the second movie, who is kind of burnt out as being Batman, doesn't really know what his place is any longer, sees somebody who has the same thing happen to him that happened when he was a child, that he has to help mentor because he doesn't want to take him down the violent path that he went, because he knows there's no return from that level of killing.
that's what this movie's supposed to be about?
In a way, yeah. And also him exploring what it means to be Batman and whether he should continue to do that, and his relationship with his parents, and what it means for him to almost become like a father that he didn't have. If I told you that, sounds kind of good, doesn't it?
It sounds like a good movie. It sounds like a good movie, but like Schumacher
you just
fucked
congratulations, you just used your whole grad school degree right there. You used the whole fucking thing there. Because the problem with that, here's the problem with that analogy. One, you are correct.
Yeah.
Two, it was executed in the most ham-fisted bullshit way, so that you're only getting like the surface level crap. You're not getting anything else.
That's fair.
Like that's, I think the problem is, you've got moments like that, and honestly, I was mentioning this to Elaine earlier. The problem with this movie, I feel, and what pisses me off the most, is I see flashes of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And then in one scene, I'll see something like that, where clearly Bruce Wayne is tired of being Batman, and he does kind of get almost post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Right.
Is he doing more bad than he's doing good?
Right. But the point is that I'm trying to get across is like you'll get scenes like that, and then in the next scene, I'll get fucking Jim Carrey that shows up like a walking cartoon character to just hit me in the balls and say, you thought you were getting a good movie, right? Boom, here's a hit in the balls. Oh, here's another good scene. Nope, here's a hit in the balls. And it's a repeated hit in the balls every fucking time I watch this movie, to the point where I'm just coming away angry. At least with Batman and Robin, one positive thing. I know that it is a walking pile of garbage meat.
That's actually why I kind of like it. Yeah.
There is zero redeeming quality in that entire movie at all. Like, literally, there's nothing good.
Well, I love in that absurd cartoon, they're like, you're supposed to feel bad that Alfred's dying, and it's like, I am? This movie's ridiculous. Don't pretend to try to have me have feelings
so
now.
that's the problem with Batman Forever, is that it has moments where you're absolutely right. There clearly was a thought to the script to make it somewhat good, but then you get moments where, like, literally, there's a scene where, all the scenes with fucking Tommy Lee Jones is just him, like, cackling like a fucking moron. And what I find great is that you find out later that, Tommy Lee Jones hated working with Jim Carrey.
I cannot abide your buffoonery.
I was waiting for you to say it. Yes, I cannot, abide your buffoonery.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I saw your movies and I hate them.
You, of all people, Tommy Lee Jones, of all people, whose next scene is basically cackling like a moron with pink makeup on your face, cannot abide by his buffoonery.
Well,
fuck you.
Somebody had commented that Tommy Lee Jones hates the idea of anybody upstaging him. And
okay.
So, the thing is, first day on set, Jim's going up to introduce himself to Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones comes up to him, like, quickly and puts him in the corner with his hands on his shoulders and, like, 2 inches from his face. I cannot abide your buffoonery. I saw your movies, and I hate them, and I hate you.
Can you imagine being bullied in the workplace like that? Like, that's some HR report shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's nuts.
Well, apparently bullied him every day.
Well, what is he going to do? Talk to Joel Schumacher, who's Tommy Lee Jones' friend, because he was in The Client. No, he's not.
No, I'm saying like you can't do that.
Yeah. No, you're. I just find it funny. Because
I just think it's
his
funny
character's
that
terrible.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that but I think the best scene in the movie, honestly, is when Batman's shutting shit down in the Batcave. Like, I'm Batman no more, and Chris O'Donnell, as Robin is like, well, I'm going to kill Two-Face, and he basically says, what are you going to do? Are you just going to go out night after night looking for the next victim? Are you going to let this is not going to stop haunting you after you've seeked vengeance in the worst way possible? And I'm like, it seemed like there were moments where they had something here.
And then you got kicked in the balls.
And then they got Joel Schumacher involved, and they got rewrites.
Well,
and
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think. I think Joel Schumacher tried. Like, I'm not going to discredit him on things like that. I'm not going to discredit him. I imagine that he probably did. He's a comic book fan. He did say that he read the comic books and he was a fan of the character. So, I believe that he probably thought that those were good things to put in there. But I don't know why that it's so inconsistent throughout the entire movie. You can't have moments like that, which I'll agree, that's a decent scene. When he's having his flashbacks, those are great scenes. But you can't follow that up with, the cartoon character, as the Riddler and Two-Face and Sugar and Spice and every Gothamite being wacky and goofy, like literally up to 11.
Batman.
Or the main reporter's name is Gossip Gertie with bizarro fucking glasses on. It's like, are you yesterday's news,
Bob Kane's
Bruce?
wife?
Oh, really? That was her?
Who, what?
That's Bob Kane's wife.
Oh, no way. That's
I didn't know that. But she's like, are you yesterday's news, Bruce? It's like, no one fucking talks that way.
Well, I think what the we were talking about kind of the production design and the color palette change. I think that making the villains so big and so bright is actually a big part of why they don't work.
Well, it reminds me of Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
This movie's more similar to Dick Tracy than it is the original Batman.
I agree with that because the idea of Two-Face, like, I don't
But
think
Dick
we need
Tracy's good.
we don't need to be like gritty about it necessarily with Two-Face, but the fact that he's in that like zebra print suit and like he is hot pink, like I don't know,
Well, the acid made his suit zebra.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's amazing how the acid made a single line across his
He
face.
put the folder. He got the folder up.
Oh, that's how it worked, right? That's how
And
wounds
Batman
work.
tried to
Paper
save him in the
stops
middle of the
acid.
day in court.
paper
Yes,
stops acid.
and you know how I found that out? From the most cinematic CNN reporting I've ever seen.
I will say that like the only thing interesting about Two-Face is his origin. And when you take that away, what the fuck are you doing?
Nothing.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like what bothers me about Two-Face is that we've seen good depictions of Two-Face prior to this movie. If you watch the animated series, Two-Face in that is a tortured soul.
Right.
And it's well made. Like literally, like all they would have had to do is say, yeah, make it like that. Like just you watch the animated series,
yeah.
make it like that. Why did you have to make it this goofy cackling monkey?
Well, like watching him and Jim Carrey try to like out villain each other. I just, we've talked about other films where like the ensemble cast has been so good and it's really helped the film to work. I mean, these guys drag each other down because they're too big. It's
partly
they're almost they're almost like played for humor in a way, but like they're the bad guys and we're supposed to be taking them seriously.
Well, partly why we didn't get an origin story of Two-Face is that this is supposed to be a sequel to both Batman films, and even though apparently Two-Face got vitiligo between movies, this is supposed to be the Billy D. Williams character.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think we were already supposed to have been introduced to him, even though in the first movie, like literally, he's just there for setup. Like, there's no character development of Harvey Dent, But
we're just there. Like my guess is that they put him in there, and then Tim Burton said, "I don't want to do Batman shit." With Batman Returns, I want to make it my movie, and so they just said, "Well, we can't include Harvey Dent in this."
yeah.
And that's why there's a lapse in it. So my guess is that Warner Brothers was like, well, we introduced Harvey Dent in the first one. Let's just have him in this. But as you said, you can't completely recast a character like that.
yeah.
And it doesn't
Not
make
at
any
least
sense.
without raising some questions.
Yeah.
Especially if, I'll be the one to say it, you go from a black man to a white man.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of
that's
like,
fair.
it was two actors that looked kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke, like they looked similar enough
Yeah. Yeah.
that you can get away with it.
Plus, I don't know.
Or Maggie Gyllenhaal and Kate.
Why
Katie
do they
Holmes.
have to do
That
that?
doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Is it just because like Tommy Lee Jones was Joel Schumacher's buddy?
Yeah, when Joel came on, he did not want Billy D. Williams in there because he wanted to cast who he wanted. And the thing is, Billy D. had a pay-for-play contract, so
really?
they literally had to pay him $5 million for him not to be in the movie.
Wow.
Because he had it that I'm going to come back as Harvey Dent, and if you use the Two-Face character, it's going to be me. And so they had to buy him out because Joel Schumacher wanted to use somebody else.
How'd that work
Well-
out for you,
And
Joel?
Marlon Wayans still gets checks from Batman Returns.
He was supposed
and
to be
Batman
Robin.
Forever. Yep.
Yep.
He was supposed to be Robin. That's
And
right.
the fact when they decided not to use him for Batman Forever, they had to, pay him as well. I'm not saying Joel Schumacher's racist, but that's two black people he recast with white people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just know that the
Is there a single
villains
black
in
person in this movie?
the mayor,
Yeah,
he's in there for like a minute. That's it.
that's it. Yeah,
That's it.
Oh, my.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But the villains in this, it goes without saying, are horrible.
So I'll say this: a lot of people say Jim Carrey stole the show. Their favorite thing about the movie was Jim Carrey. They love the Riddler.
Jim Carrey was playing himself.
Yeah,
Like
Yes.
literally, he was playing.
he's
himself.
playing his character.
He was playing. Yeah, it literally is if you took Stanley Ipkiss and Ace Ventura and a couple of his one-off characters.
Lloyd
from
Christmas a little.
Lloyd Christmas a little, and a couple of his one-off characters from In Living Color, and you mash them together into one amalgamation. That's what you're getting with this. You're getting someone who's literally getting hit by amphetamines before he goes on stage.
Lane, how do you feel about Jim Carrey in this?
I cannot stand Jim Carrey even on the best of days. So
come on, Lane. You didn't like number 23?
Nope.
That's his dark role.
I mean,
you just threw another Joel Schumacher movie at us. Thank you for that.
I mean, number one, as a human being, he's just batshit, and I'm not a big fan.
I appreciate his current artwork.
Yes. But it's just funny because I was telling John this the other day when we were rewatching it. I never knew growing up that the Riddler was supposed to be smart. It was supposed to be Edward Nygma, this genius, because Jim Carrey plays him like such an idiot buffoon.
Yes.
I never realized. And you know what? When I realized it was the Arkham games.
Yep.
As an adult. I think I was 30 before I figured that shit out.
Well, do you know what's funny about this character in the Batman animated series? He goes, the Batman's talking with Robin in the car, and he's like, "Yeah, he's Edward Nygma," and Robin goes, "Wait, Enigma? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard." And he goes, "It's not his real name; it's a moniker that he's taken on because he's the Riddler." In the cartoon, they back out of how stupid that is. But in the movie,
funny.
they're like, "Whatever."
I love the version of the Riddler we get in the Gotham series.
Oh, I didn't watch it that far.
That is in
That was
my
a good
opinion.
character, yeah.
That was in my opinion a very, very, very good depiction of the Riddler as someone who who honestly has a mental split, literally has a breakdown and develops this villainous character after committing a murder, and he has a split between the Edward Nygma that is a genius and the Edward Nygma that is a murderer.
He's kind of
Right.
like Dexter.
He is a little bit.
Okay.
He works in the
it's-
Gotham
and
Police Department.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and it works really well, and you get
Nice.
that intelligence. He's not crazy, he's not like zany like this is. He's
Yeah.
just a genius.
Yeah.
And that's the type of character the Riddler is. He battles Batman with his intelligence. He just doesn't have the physical prowess that Batman has.
Right.
But I felt that Jim Carrey was a fucking cartoon character in this. And as a kid, I liked it. I'll be the
Right.
first
We
to
were
say
10.
that. When I was
Yeah.
10 and this came out, I'm like, oh, yay, Jim Carrey is in it. Yay, it's great. He's best in this. But, as an adult, you watch it, and I watch it again, I'm just like, he's exhausting.
Yeah. I was blinded by my affection for Jim Carrey at this time.
We all were.
Yeah,
Bless.
because I loved Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
Loved
me
the
too.
guy.
Me
He
too.
could do no wrong, and you get a lot of that when you get older. Every time I rewatch Who Framed Roger Rabbit makes me more and more uncomfortable. He is just so fucking much to handle.
He's a lot.
And it's when you're a little kid, that doesn't really bother you. You know what I mean?
I always found it weird that he's his wife is a smoking hot cartoon.
she fucks a rabbit.
I know that, but I'm just saying, I always found that a little strange.
But
It's
they're both
of all-
cartoons.
I
It's
know
like
that,
cartoon on
but
cartoon
it's
action.
that's mixing species.
A dolphin and I are both mammals.
Yeah,
I go fuck it.
it would be thrilled.
right through the blowhole.
But all right, well, Brian,
Okay.
let me challenge you with this one.
Okay.
So take out of the fact that you're a huge comic book fan. Take out that you're a huge Batman guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're a father.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun film for the whole family. It's not dark and depressing. It's an entertaining action film that you can take your kids to. Is there not some merit to be said for that outside of being a Batman superfan?
So my stepsons actually like this movie. I don't know why.
Bless.
I liked it when it came out. They're
I
that age.
tolerate. Here's the thing. I liked it enough when it came out, but at the same time, I knew that it wasn't the same Batman that I had liked, previously.
Right.
Right.
So it was one of those things where it's yeah, it's different, and I liked it while I was watching it, but I don't know if I'm gonna call this one of my favorites. I liked Michael Keaton a lot. I liked the Tim Burton, kind of isms that he built into Batman and Batman Returns, this just seemed kind of hollow. Now, to answer your question, would I take my kids to this? Sure, why not? But I would also argue that that's supporting them to make more of these.
Yeah,
That's
you know
fair.
what I mean? And do I want them to make more of these? And the answer to that is no.
No, thank you.
And I was glad when Batman and Robin bombed. Seriously.
Yikes.
No.
That was the first Batman movie I ever saw with
I'm
Batman
so
and Robin.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay.
I'm really sorry. They
No.
should have killed it for you.
If you had never read a Batman comic and you had never seen either of the Tim Burton movies, do you think not just you but anybody would have disliked this movie as much as they did?
If you were completely devoid of any Batman knowledge and you saw this, you probably would come away thinking that's a nice comic book movie. But
I think that
you
was
wouldn't-
what Batman and Robin
but-
was for me because I didn't know anything
but-
about Batman.
But you wouldn't. Here's the thing. You probably would also point out that there's some lines in this thing that are really fucking dumb.
Because I think, like, Brian, some of the things we mentioned earlier are things that are Batman related that if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't care about. Like when Batman just swoops down onto the street and starts shooting jokes back with Chase Meridian, and that's not Batman. But if you don't know any different,
Right.
then it just seems like, oh, Batman
Yeah,
showed up because
yeah,
he's part of the police. somehow.
Yeah. But you can't ignore the fact that the writing in this is really bad.
Yeah.
Like,
it
the
really
actual
is.
acting in
The
this is-
dialogue is just
the
atrocious.
dialogue. It's the epitome of you can write this shit, but you can't say this shit. Like I know that we haven't really talked about Chase Meridian, but I think it's worth mentioning Chase Meridian.
Dr. Sexy Lamp Sex
Dr.
Puppet.
Sexy Lamp Sex Puppet. Yeah. First of all, let's look at the history of female characters in Batman movies.
Ugh.
Okay, not exactly the best track record, in my opinion.
Nope.
Kim Basinger in the original Batman, Sexy Lamp. I think it can say that.
A screaming Sexy Lamp.
Screaming Sexy Lamp.
Go back and watch that movie and play the Vicky Vale
Yeah,
scream
no,
drinking
seriously,
game.
seriously. Catwoman, Batman Returns, better, I think. What do you think?
Well, she falls under that Daniel Waters, like everything is said is perverse kind of map.
But better,
yeah.
better,
I mean, her entire
She's more
character-
interesting because she's a villain. She has a lot more to do than
but better.
Vicky Vale
Gu-
photographer.
guys. So her entire character.
Shh, Lane, the
Oh,
men are
shit.
talking.
She's gonna throw that
Whoa.
coffee at you. It's
The
gonna
adults
happen.
are talking toots. Okay, we're having a conversation here. Why don't you go bake a pie? All right? No, it's good.
Wow.
Oh, she's gonna divorce you now.
I mean, maybe I feel suddenly like taking my rings off.
No, please educate us.
Well, no, I mean, just what I'm thinking about the character here is like, as a woman, Catwoman isn't that much fun for me to watch. There's nothing really to her, and her entire character as Catwoman comes at the hands of physical trauma from a male character.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that there's really nothing that interesting about her. Now I'm always fascinated by alternate origin stories of Catwoman that I don't need to get into, but those are more interesting things that I find, a bit more compelling. And there was an animated thing where Eliza Dushku did her voice. What was that thing we watched?
Oh, was it one of the animated movies?
I think so. It was something like that.
I think it was year one.
Was it? It was just.
Okay.
It was like a better take on the story. I just thought it was more interesting.
It was Frank Miller making her a prostitute.
Right. Well, she's a stripper, right?
She's a prostitute.
Prostitute.
Oh, she's a prostitute. Oh, see, I thought it was a stripper.
She becomes a madam later, like in
I thought it was
those
a
Frank Miller
stripper.
movies.
I thought it was a stripper, and I thought that was more interesting. Again, making it highly sexualized and making like sex work like her character, obviously not good conventions.
Yeah.
But for Catwoman, I mean, it's just, oh wow, women are hot and crazy.
Yeah, Batman year one.
That's it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, what good is a woman if she can't be objectified?
So the
Thank
point
you,
is,
Frank
is
Miller.
that in Batman movies, women are not exactly portrayed the best.
They're not, and I think that's a large part of why I'm
They're for
not
little
really.
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you guys may laugh at me, but like Poison Ivy is like the only character female character in this iteration of Batman that like has her own motivations, because if you notice, she doesn't actually ever really want to fuck Bruce Wayne or Batman. She just wants to poison him with her lips and shit.
Or Robin.
Right. So
She
like
kind of teases.
she's kinda horny at that gal.
She kind of teases Robin.
yeah, but again,
And Robin kind of wants it.
They both fall in love with her because of the pheromones, but she doesn't have any interest in either of them.
No.
And she has her own motivations, and she's like
banging Bane.
she's like
oh God! Why did you have to put that image?
That's true. I forgot Bane was in that. I forgot Bane was in that.
Give it to me, Baney.
But anyway,
Plant your seed in my rose.
A Pete Moss.
guys, I'm trying to say things, and you're being a-holes.
Sorry.
But
Sorry,
she has her
Lane.
own motivations. She was an activist when she was, mortal or whatever you want to call it. But she was an activist, and she's also just like still trying to protect the earth. So I mean,
Yeah.
and if that's the best female character,
That's
we're in
sad.
trouble. Like there's a
Well,
problem.
I mean, you could say Batgirl is okay.
Nope.
Uncle
She's not. She's not. She's not.
Okay,
Sorry.
fair enough. I'm just trying to get across
She fights in heels.
that in Batman Forever, it's a track record of not that great female characters.
They're all sex objects. I mean, Sugar and Spice are both just basically like breathing inflatable dolls.
You can do whatever you want to me.
Yes.
Or you can call me whatever you want. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yep.
So we get
Drew
to
Barrymore.
but we get to Chase Meridian, and I can't stand her.
I'm not a huge Nicole Kidman fan. I've literally only ever liked her in Practical Magic. That's the only
but
movie I've
like,
ever liked
here's
her
the thing:
in.
she's an okay actress. Like, she's a fairly good actress.
She has a giant forehead.
Yeah, she does.
John, can we not be like a
but-
catty beach?
But the point I'm getting across is like, even she's got to say like this script is fucking awful.
Maybe.
Like,
But she wasn't Nicole Kidman back then.
yeah,
Like
she was.
Was she?
Yeah,
Well, To Die For It just
to
come
die
out.
for it. Come
That's
out.
not a big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think she was on her way to becoming Nicole Kidman, but I don't know if she was like a huge
well,
name at that
At
point.
that point, she was just kind of the lady who was banging Tom Cruise.
Especially when they were filming it, I would say. Or,
Yeah.
when they were in the script reading.
I don't know. I just like I can't stand her dialogue in it. She's the worst psychiatrist I've ever seen. Like, one, you don't have sex with your patients, and she's trying to have sex with Batman and
Well,
Bruce.
did he
Wayne.
ever officially become a patient? I thought he kind of was auditing her office, like he wasn't.
Well,
actually.
he's that rich.
He didn't
doesn't
fill out
have
the
to-
paperwork,
He didn't
yeah.
fill out the paperwork. He just said, "Oh, I should stop by and get my head shrunk."
Besides, he decided to not have her be his doctor when he took her to the circus. Why did they use that
You're
tape?
so rude.
Every time I watch that movie, he goes, "Tell me, doctor, do you like the circus?" I'm like, "Cut! Let's do that again."
Does it make you feel like a big man to make fun of the way he says that?
No, I'm looking for the Joel Schumacher for not taking a second take. He doesn't have a lisp. He accidentally just choked on his spit a little bit, and they didn't do another goddamn take.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're not punching down.
Aren't you supposed to be playing devil's advocate?
Oh, we went off the rails on that.
Yeah, we'll come around.
My
Yeah.
point is that her character's terrible. She is a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen. Like, literally, she is a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen. She uses the bat signal to basically,
Why don't the bad
show
guys
off-
do that?
show off her titties
Yeah.
to Batman. Like, literally, that's what she's doing.
Like, he shows up because the bat signal's on. You think, like, Two-Face would just do that and shoot him?
Make a crappy movie.
Make a crappy movie.
Really quick movie.
Right there.
Hey, maybe it would be better. It'd be
Apparently,
15 minutes long.
apparently the signal is so open that you can just walk right up to it. No one's got a lock or anything like that
Gordon
on the
shows
light.
up in his jams like, I saw the signal.
Yeah, first of all, what the fuck is Commissioner Gordon going to do with his jammies on?
His jammies.
I saw the signal. What's going on?
Oh, all right. Well, to continue on, I got one for you guys. Batman's actually in this movie.
What does
What?
that mean?
Yeah.
That was a big complaint about the first two, is that there was so little Batman in a movie
Oh,
called
and
Batman.
it was like
Batman
mostly
Returns.
Bruce Wayne.
And there's a lot
Yeah.
of actual Batman doing Batman things in this movie.
Yeah, but they're overblown and ridiculous things. I don't know.
Yeah, like fighting glowing gangsters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is
I don't know.
that all you guys got? Okay.
I don't know.
What do you make of the idea that
I mean-
people said in Batman Returns you almost never saw Batman through the whole movie, and they almost like forgot that it was a Batman movie. In this one, you get a lot of action sequences with Batman doing Batman stuff.
Yeah, but I think that that's just for like simple people who just want to see fistfights.
I mean, I saw a lot of choreographed fighting with, lucha libres. I mean, that was something, yeah, choreographed fighting.
I don't necessarily think that, that all Batman all the time is a good thing, though. I think that's, if it's what the masses want, that makes me suspicious that it's not the right thing for a film.
I would say that Batman is one of these characters, especially him, that is kind of amplified by the villains that he faces. So, if you know that going in, and Batman has probably the best rogues gallery of villains of any comic book character, in my opinion. Way better than Superman, way better than any of the Marvel characters.
X-Men? Well, what about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, close.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's nearly as deep.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't think it's nearly as deep.
Bold takes happening right now, guys.
I'm just saying, a lot of people have said, it's not just me, a lot of people said that Batman has the best rogues gallery around. But I think that he's supported by the villains. And once you get good villains in there, it makes him a better Batman, Right. That's why the Joker, it was such a great character for him to first face off against. Because it's the first time that he's facing off against someone who isn't just, street hoods, or those sorts of people. So, and you could say that the Penguin and Catwoman were not the best. And honestly, I don't think looking at it, as an adult, I don't think they were the greatest villains to face off against. I think someone like Mr. Freeze, like a real version of Mr. Freeze, or I know what they tried to do with Batman Returns was that, Oswald Cobblepot was supposed to be kind of like the antithesis of Batman. So he's a
more of even Bruce Wayne.
Well, Bruce
True,
Wayne, yeah,
that's
basically
true.
This,
because
a
Joker
wealthy...
was the opposite of Batman. Oswald Cobblepot was the opposite of Bruce Wayne.
Yes, yes. So I know what they were trying to do. I just don't think it worked nearly as well. But I agree that there's more Batman in this.
And Catwoman had a butt. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You guys both looked a little wistful.
Yeah. What's your point? I'm just getting across that. Yeah, there's a lot of Batman in this. I don't know if it's always for the better.
That's what I said.
That is what you said.
I agree.
So, do we want to talk about the ending? Because we haven't really talked about the ending, and we're kind of getting low on a time here.
All right.
So
The box.
Well,
the box island.
well, yeah. The big to do is that Riddler is making a box, which it's a cone.
Okay.
It's a blender with
It's
wings.
a blender with wings
Yikes.
that somehow manages to take your brain waves and inject TV into them. So it basically becomes like virtual reality. And while he's doing this, he's also sucking your intelligence out.
Oh, that seems so scientific and possible.
And impossible. And apparently a lot of green for reasons.
Joel Schumacher likes green.
I
He likes it a lot.
I can tell, man
So
loves
good.
his green. But yeah, the ending has, Batman and Robin join forces after, Riddler and Two-Face kidnap, sexy McPsychiatrist pants. And
Dr. Sex Muffs.
Dr. Seth. And they're like, we're gonna team up, and we don't have any suits, but I got these fancy new suits that there'll be toys.
I was
Toy
gonna say,
etiquette.
buy toys.
Yeah.
Buy toys.
Toy
Buy
etiquette.
toys.
Toy
Well,
etiquette.
yeah. I mean, I will say this: at least that was somewhat relevant to the plot. You get to Batman and Robin, and they somehow we have to put on our Arctic suits.
Yeah.
There's no reason
Even though
why
we
you
don't really have to,
We
yeah.
don't have to do it. Is it gonna work? Is it just all matching with silver highlights?
Yeah.
But this one at least there's some reason why he has to do it.
Yeah.
Because the Two-Face and Riddler destroyed his hideout.
Yeah.
Which at that point they have to die. Seriously, did you ever watch that? Did you go back and watch it and you're thinking, yeah, Two-Face has to die. Riddler has to die now too.
Yeah. They know everything.
They all
Yeah.
know, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to die.
They have to.
I wasn't surprised when Two-Face bit it. But we get this fun sequence where they're in the Bat boat and they're in the Bat plane, which are just there for conveyance of travel.
And more toys.
And more toys. And, Riddler has this whole battleship thing. Which I'm just so green light shoots down people now?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. How does that work with the brainwaves thing?
He basically has a giant laser. He has one of the greatest weapons ever invented. And he uses
And what do you use it for?
Yeah.
Moron.
Yeah.
to shoot down Batman. Aren't you supposed to be playing devil's advocate now?
I'm letting you describe this here.
I got nothing here, okay? I got nothing here. I fucking hate this movie.
Okay, guys. Well, there's one thing I think.
Fucking hate this
In
movie.
conclusion, I think that there's one thing we can all agree on.
It sucks.
No, something positive.
It positively sucks.
That Gene Siskel's the greatest man who ever lived?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
I think that we can all agree that Michael Guff is the best Alfred. Favorite Alfred. He's my favorite Alfred.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. I'll give him
But
that.
He has a November birthday. His birthday was on the 23rd.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
But yeah, so the question was, and I really, really try to keep an open mind with this, rewatching this for this episode, because it is oddly a beloved movie out there in the Batman. You know, everybody agrees, oh, Batman Robin's stupid and it sucks and it's funny bad. You know, nobody really defends Batman and Robin other than ironically. But this movie has its following. I'd say it's probably 50-50 out there. People that love and hate this movie.
That's crazy to me. That is
I think it's
crazy to me.
My issues aren't rewatching this weren't with Batman stuff. It wasn't that they didn't do the character right or they didn't do this stuff. I feel that when you convert something from one medium to another, you have to be open for a lot of interpretation. My problem was that the movie was terrible. The structure was terrible.
The execution is just bad.
The tone was awful.
Script.
The characters were hollow. Yeah,
Dialogue is laughable.
that was really the issue I had with it.
Agreed.
It would have almost been a better remake than it was a sequel to Batman Returns. They should have just started over with Joel Schumacher.
Apparently.
And so, is this movie really that awful? I really kept an open mind on it.
100% yes.
It is that awful.
Yes, it is.
It is. Spoiler alert. It is.
I would say that people forget about this movie because they immediately jump from Batman Returns to saying, oh, yeah, that was kind of weird. And then to Batman and Robin as clear examples of what the fuck happened. But with Batman Forever, as I said, the problem I have with it and what makes me more angry about it is that
so angry.
It has moments when it's not a shit sandwich and then immediately follows it with another shit sandwich scene.
Yeah, I feel that if they took this script exactly as it was, gave it to somebody
competent.
who had competent, and they didn't they had maybe say Tim Burton stayed on or something like that, and
well,
they rewrote.
Did. He was executive producer of this,
which means they gave him money to go away.
Yes, it was,
and to not say bad things about it.
Yeah.
But and they maybe did 2 or 3 other rewrites, and they kept the tone of the second one, or let's say the first one. Then this could have been really good. There is skeleton work of something of quality here,
and that's what makes me angry. That is what. But that's what I'm saying is your point is exactly right. This makes me angry because I can see the potential, but the problem is that you have a director and you have a studio. I'm sorry, I put a lot of this on Warner Brothers as well, who decided that Batman is for kids.
It's for selling Happy Meals.
And it's for selling Happy Meals.
Yeah. This is the McDonald's of this franchise, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hollow, it's empty. Like, you feel kind of good when you're eating it, but then you feel sick.
Well, that was, you know what? Here's the thing.
I
don't like Siskel and Ebert. Obviously, I've made that kind of point.
I didn't know that.
No. And they liked this movie. Big shocker.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Oh.
But they actually said the same sort of thing that John is saying, that you like this movie while you're watching it. But as soon as you walk away from it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that was kind of forgettable.
Or, that plot point didn't add up.
Yeah,
that was
so
strange,
it's one of these movies that while you're watching it, if you can just turn off that logic circuit in your brain for like a good 90 minutes, you'll have fun. And if you're a child, you'll have fun as long as you're not a mature child who has that logic circuit already working overtime. You'll like it, but if you are someone like me, you're a fan of Batman, and you kind of expect more, you'll be pissed off. And you'll probably be less pissed off at Batman and Robin because you'll know going into Batman and Robin that it's supposed to be bad.
Well, there's
That it's
something
just-
fun about.
it's bad.
We'll talk about Batman.
Yeah, we
and
will.
Robin
We
sometime.
eventually will get to that one, and
That's just a pantheon of utter shit. That's not really that awful.
yeah. To me, it's like
really
a Neil
bad.
Breen movie. I
Yes.
love watching Batman and Robin because it is such a train wreck. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's fair. It's fair. But yeah, so really that awful? Indeed, it is.
Indeed, it is.
It is. It is.
It is.
I
It
cannot
is.
stand this movie. I hate it.
Oh God, fucking Batman.
That's I think our first really that awful where we actually said it was that awful.
I think
Elaine, I
so.
think you said it with toys.
Oh, I hated that movie. Oh my god, that movie was so bad.
I like toys.
Hated it.
I like toys.
I gave it a passive pass. Brian gave it a good one, and you said it was that awful. But yeah, we're unanimous. Really that awful. That's the first time this happened. No, we haven't done many of these. But
No,
still.
it's fair.
No.
It's fair. It's true.
We tried. If you love Batman Forever, I'm sorry, we tried.
We tried. We really
I
did.
didn't. I knew going in it was going to be a shit.
Brian tried
sandwich.
0%.
So said it made me angry.
If you want to get good Riddler shit, good Two-Face shit, watch the animated series.
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously, or Gotham. Gotham's pretty good for that.
So good.
Okay, that's enough. Batman Forever. We're done talking about him.
All right. Well, guys, good talk.
Good talk. Good talk. Really good discussion. And honestly, John, I'm glad you played devil's advocate because
Yeah,
I
that
think
made it more interesting.
It did make it more interesting. You know, we need to have some person who kind of like reels us in a little bit. It's just funny that's you. So speaking of that, John, we're going to find you on the Twitter machine.
Schumacher for life. No, I'm sorry. The Unreal J Wolves.
What about you, Lane?
LA_Croft.
And you can find me at Bat Nipples or at Brian
Bat
Kyne.
Nipples.
Also on the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Psycho Show. You can also find us on epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, or you too are contemplating your existence after watching Batman Forever, you can contact us, send to psychoshow.com. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, and we will see you next time.
Please, you're as blind as a bat.
Exactly.